So hello everyone. In this video we'll be talking about what functions are in Java, what's the basic syntax of functions, what arguments are, and what do we mean by this return type. Okay. So firstly let's just create a program that sums two numbers. Which adds two numbers. Okay, so we can do it something like this. Int a is equal to 3, int b is equal to 2, and int c is equal to a plus b. Okay, now we want to print the value at our console. The expected result is 5, and here as you can see the expected result came out to be true. What if we want to do this addition again? Let's say we want to add two numbers 5 times. Like here we added 3 plus 2. In the other sum method we want to add 5 plus 7 and so on. What we have to do is we have to write the code again and again in order to do that. So for that specific reason we use functions, as we can reuse them wherever we want in our code. So let's create a function which can add two numbers. Okay, let's just know the basic syntax of functions in Java. So we declare a function by these keywords: static, void, and let's name our function as first, and curly braces after that. Okay, I hope this is clear up to this point. So now let's just create a function. Okay, static void. Keep in mind this is a basic function. We will talk about return types. In that case the void will be replaced with some data types. So static void, let's name our function. Let's just name it as first. You can name it whatever you want. Curly braces, and in here we have to write the code. Okay, so int a is equal to 3 and int b is equal to 5. Okay, we'll do the same thing as before. Int c is equal to a plus b, and what we'll do is we'll print the value of c. System.out .println c. Let me clear this. Let's run this. The expected value is 8 this time. Wait a second, I haven't called on to my function. Let me just do that. The expected value is 8. I guess I have used some. Wait a second, let me just see. What is the issue going on here? Let me count the braces. First, it's down here. This one, it ends down here. Ends down here. Okay. So me just clear this out. The expected result is 8. Let's see. As expected, the result comes out to be 8. So we got to know what functions are. A plus point in Java, we don't call functions as functions, we call them as methods, as everything in Java is inside a class. When we declare or initialize functions within a class, what happens is they are called as methods. Okay, let's just clear this code. Let's talk about what arguments are. Let's talk about what arguments are. Okay, let me just clear this as well. So let's talk about arguments now. Let me just declare a function here. Let its return type be void, which means it won't return any value. And let's just name this function as second. You can name it whatever you want. Add in these parentheses. You have to initialize variables. I'll make clear what I mean by initializing variables and how we can use them. So suppose I'm initializing two variables, int a and int b. Okay, and in here I'm writing down the same code. As I have already initialized the variables here, declared the variables here, I have just to initialize them down here. So let me just say int c is equal to a plus b system.out .println c. Now I will make clear what I meant by parsing in these two variables within these parentheses and what I mean by arguments. Okay, so let's call on to this function second. Let me type in 2, 3. Let's just look at the result for 1 second, and after that I will clear what I meant by arguments. The result should come out to be, wait a second, I used these, I have to use commas, int a comma int b. Let's clear this. The result should come out to be 5. As expected, the result came out to be 5. So what I'm doing is I'm calling on to the function second. Okay, and I'm passing in the value 2 and 3. These values are being passed down to int a and int b respectively. And after that, what int c is doing, int c is storing the value of some of these two variables. In this case, int a is storing 2 and int b is storing 3. And after that, what int c is doing, it's summing a and b, and after that we are printing the value of c. That's just happening in our code. This initialization, this declaration of variables within these parentheses is known as, these variables are known as arguments. Simply we use these two variables so that whenever we call a function, we can just press in the values, we can just give these values to any of the variables that are declared in here. Okay, which makes it a bit dynamic. In the previous case, what we had to do is we have to change the value of int a and int b within the function, but now what we are doing is we are changing the value of int a and int b upon calling the function. I can give anything in here. So let's say I'm giving 8, 3. Now what's happening is int a is being equal to 8 and int b is being equal to 3. 8 is being stored in the variable a and 3 is being stored in the variable b. And after that, what int c is doing is just adding a and b and storing the value of them, and after that we are just printing out the value of c. In this case the expected result is 11, so let me just clear this down. Let's just run this. As expected, the result came out to be 11. Okay. So let's talk about return type now. What return type actually is. Here what we are doing, we are giving the return type to void, which means this program, this function isn't returning anything. It's not returning anything, it's just printing out the value in here. But when we return something, suppose I want to return the value of a plus b from this function. I don't want to print it, I just want to return the value. Okay, we can do it too, but for that we need a bit of different syntax. Let's see how we can do that. Let me just clear this down as well. So static, this is new syntax by the way for return type. Firstly, I want to return an int in the sum case. Okay, you have to initialize, you have to declare what type of value you want to return. In this case I want to return an int, so integer, so I'm giving it the return type int. If you wanted to return a string, you can use the data type string. In this case I'm using I'm going to return, this function is going to return the data type which is int, so I'm just going to mention int over here. So static int, and let's just name it something, third, and in the parentheses let's just give it some arguments, int a comma int b. Okay, so what this will do is it will return the value a plus b. This method will return the value a plus b, which will be an int. That's why we specified int over here. Okay, so let me call on to this function. Let me store it in a variable in here, int c is equal to third, let's say 1 comma 2. Okay, let me just print out now the value of c. Wait a second. Just run it. The expected result here is 3, and as here you can see the result is 3. That's what we mean by return type. It's not gonna print any value over here, it's just gonna return the value. In the previous case what happened was it was just printing down the value, it wasn't returning anything. We were just calling onto the function and the function was being executed, and in the end we were specifying that this function was gonna print out the value of c. So that's what it was doing. But this time what it's doing is it's returning the value of a plus b. We are calling in the arguments here. 1, it's being stored in a, and 2, it's being stored in b. After that, as we are calling the function, it's going to return a plus b. It's going to return this value to c, as we are storing it in c over here. So after that we are just printing out the value of c, and here you can see the value came out to be as expected. So that's pretty much it. In the next video I'll try to make a video about scope, what scope actually is. So till then, take care.